So today we are going to be doing a review of a little TV show which I call Rings of Power Season 2. This is something kind of new for the show, I guess. I don't usually, Popcorn King doesn't eat popcorn for series, but I thought I would do one for this series just because I've got some things I want to say about it, if I'm honest with you. I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. I think they're the best films ever made. Objectively, and I use that word. I don't use that word likely. I don't know the correct saying there, but I think Lord of the Rings are objectively the best film ever. Just every department that it takes to make a film is at its absolute highest in Lord of the Rings. I don't just mean acting and directing and screenplay. I mean costume, set design, score. It's just everything. Every single department is at its sort of pinnacle best. It's so high in every single department that I think, yeah, by that metric, it's the best film ever made and one of my absolute favourites. So I was super excited for Rings of Power to grace the small screen. But the first season was absolutely shit. And I was just like, this isn't good. I'm not enjoying this at all. But the second season came and I had to watch it anyway because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, Tolkien fan. So we've got to the second season. And a huge improvement. I think it's much better than the first season. There's still lots of things that kind of bother me about it. Not going to lie. But all in all, I'm really happy with the second season. But I do have some things that I kind of want to get off my chest, if you know what I mean. So I'll kind of go through what I think are like sort of the main sort of storylines, the main section. So we've got the elves and Adar. Love that bit. Love all of it. Adar's really interesting to watch. Great character, fun to watch. He's got a real love of the orcs. And I enjoy watching Elrond and Galadriel. She's alright. Galadriel's alright. She's just so different from the Galadriel we know and love. She was just so ethereal in Lord of the Rings. So majestic, almost. But in this series, she's sort of like a hot-headed person who makes stupid decisions so often. And nothing sort of magical or mystical about her at all. So it's just like a completely different character. So I'm just like, it's not Galadriel. That's just not. She's supposed to be the most beautiful creature on Middle Earth that Gimli would just want but a hair from her head as a gift. And this Galadriel in the series is just a bit annoying, if I'm honest with you. Just nothing striking about her. But that being said, I enjoyed the elves sort of storyline, the whole storyline with Adar and them trying to go kill Sauron and Sauron making the rings with Celebrimbor, or whatever, however you say his name. I don't know how to say his name. But yeah, I will say that there's one thing that confused me. Maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I wasn't able to maintain focus enough to properly understand what the fuck was happening. But that battle in the penultimate episode, great battle, really fun to watch. It's got trolls in there, it's got the stampeding horses, it's got all the great things of a battle. It's dramatic, but the stakes are so weird because, and again, I might just be stupid here, I might just be completely missing the mark, but it seems to me that every single person in this whole battle, apart from one man, has the same goal, which is to kill Sauron. And Sauron's the only person who doesn't share that goal, I guess. Like every single person, Adar, all of the orcs, Elrond, all of the elves, and then like Celebrimbor, however the hell you say his name, and his whole city, his whole castle, they would presumably want to kill Sauron as well if they known that he was there. Like everybody has the same goal, and they're all just killing each other needlessly. It's like it seems so clear to me. It's like, hey, whatever differences we have, Sauron is Hitler. Let's just put our differences aside for now and focus on killing Hitler. Then maybe we can fight after. But no, they go, okay, we'll just kill most of our army first and then maybe try and take on Sauron. Like, it seems like an absolute ludicrous idea. And I don't understand. I don't understand why Galadriel is locked up with Adar when clearly they have almost the identical goal. Elrond should be clever enough to be like, I guess it makes sense for us to double our army against Sauron. So I guess we'll work together. The whole thing, it's like, yeah, it's a good battle. It's fun to watch, but the stakes are so skewed. There's literally one person in the whole of Middle Earth, Sauron, who is like gaining from this battle. Like loads of his foes are killing themselves, basically. So yeah, a bizarre battle, but overall fun battle to watch. I really enjoyed it. The human sort of storyline, the men, the women, the succession story about who's going to be king or queen, just not what I'm into. That's not me. That's just not Lord of the Rings, in my opinion. I understand that Lord of the Rings does have a succession and political thing to say with Aragorn and stuff, but really that's not the forefront of Tolkien's main thrust. You know, it's very Game of Thronesy, and it's a strange. There's a strange system for election, it seems, when it comes to who's going to become queen or king. It's like, oh, a giant eagle lands, so this person should be king. And then it's like, oh no, this woman is in the water and a big fish monster comes near her, so she's going to be queen. It's like, well, what the hell? What's the election process here? Is it just if a big animal is near you, you're allowed to be king? I didn't really understand it. It's just boring, not interesting, uninteresting. I don't want to watch that. Like, I understand Isildur plays a big role eventually, but right now it's dull. It's dull as shit. I don't want to watch that. The Hobbits. I know it just sounds like I'm complaining. The Hobbits, though, come on, they're so boring. Their hairstyles and costumes and stuff is insufferably bad. It is not at all. It's just wacky and childish and silly, and the Hobbits really are the thrust of what Tolkien is. His main message is finding the unlikeliest of heroes in an unwinnable situation, like beating all odds. That's the main thrust of Tolkien, right? It's just, yeah, they might not be the biggest, they might not be the strongest, they might not even be the smartest, but they've got the biggest hearts. Their willpower is unmatched. It's like I say, this person, by all rights, has no right being a hero. They have no right to be a hero. They're too little. Yet they are the biggest heroes. That's what Tolkien is all about. The unlikely hero against all odds. That's what Lord of the Rings is. That's what the Hobbits represent. And these Hobbits are boring and annoying. And the shoehorning in a boring love story between that Hobbit with the strangest, stupidest hair. And it's... I have nothing but boredom when I watch the Hobbits in this series. And it's such a shame because that really brings the whole series down. That's like, you need to focus on that. Let's really put these Hobbits against it. They should be in situations where you're like, there's no way anybody but fucking Aragorn and Legolas can do here to win this situation, yet the Hobbits find a way. They find a way against all odds just through perseverance and goodness. Like, that's what they're all about, but that doesn't shine through at all in this series, which is such a shame. But then we do get to the dwarves, and the dwarves are an excellent storyline. Like, I really enjoy watching the dwarves. I think Doran and his dad are some of the best actors in the show. the dad's sort of descent into greed when the ring is overpowering him. That's great. Amazing acting. Durin, finally the Balrog. We get to see the Balrog. That's excellent. And like, we've been waiting 2 whole seasons to see the Balrog, and we got about 1.5 minutes worth of Balrog action, and it was kind of worth it. It was great. A great bit of Balrog action, and Durin having to face his father and the dilemma that he's got there, the love of his people, the love of his dad, the love of Elrond even. Like, really, really wonderful acting. They're by far my favourite part of the show, I'd say. I really enjoy it when they're on screen. I enjoy that a lot. But yeah, all in all, like I say, it's much better than the first season, because the first season was trash. But there were some big problems still with Rings of Power. You know, the first season, they tried really hard, and they did succeed, to be fair to them. They did succeed. They tried to hide the identity of Sauron, right? And by doing that, they created these red herrings, these characters who we were all like, oh, could this person be Sauron? Or could this person be Sauron? This boy with like kind of greasy long dark hair, maybe he's Sauron, or maybe this guy. And they to be fair to them, they pulled it off quite well. But the issue is, the result of that is now that we do have the identity of Sauron, we're left with a bunch of characters who were only interesting to us because we thought they were going to be Sauron. And now that that's stripped away from them, now we know they're not Sauron. Now they're just uninteresting characters that we're left with. That was the only thing about them that was mildly interesting. So we're kind of left with a bunch of characters that have nowhere to go. And it's like, you need to just get the knife out, put a bunch of characters on the chopping board, get rid of them, heavily focus on the writing of the Hobbits. And I think season 3 can keep going up. Like, we're going in the right direction, right? We can keep getting better. So that's really all I've got to say about Rings of Power. I think you should watch it. I do think it's worth it. The second season is worth it for the elves and the dwarfs. The story writing is getting slightly better, and hopefully it will continue to get better. So I'm excited. I don't know. I'm excited for the third season. I love the world. I love the world. What can I say?